Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. All right, let's have a look and see what there is today. Let's start here. Lauren Price is no honeymoon for Jessica McCaskill and Rick Ramos. When is this fight? Why have I got a weird feeling this fight is this weekend? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it is. Jeez, it is this weekend. Boy, everyone talks about the Sky Sports machine. That Sky Sports machine needs to do a bit more work because I didn't even realize it was this weekend. And if I don't know it's this weekend, then a lot of other fight fans, I think, might have missed that as well. Look, it's going to be a decent fight. Jessica McCaskill still, I think, has something left. I think we saw that against Sandy Ryan. I thought Sandy won that fight, but McCaskill comes in and brawls. She's very much kind of an old school boxer. Like, I look at sort of the females in the past. This is no disrespect to them, and I used to think that a lot of them were brawlers. I feel like a lot of the females coming through now, they can still brawl, all right? Clarissa Shields can brawl, Savannah Marshall can brawl, Alicia Baumgardner, etc., but they're very skilled as well. And I feel like Jessica McCaskill is very much in the camp of a brawler. Lauren Price can brawl a bit, but she's very skillful. Obviously, you don't become Olympic champion if you're not. So it's an intriguing fight, a passing of the torch fight. I expect Lauren Price to get it done. Who else is on this card? Reese Edwards versus Thomas Patrick Ward, featherweight fight. Hughie Fury's on this card against Patrick Corty. Who's this Patrick Corty? Never heard of him. Never heard of him. It's not the greatest card, if I'm honest with you. In fact, it's pretty poor. It's pretty poor, this card. Maybe that's why. Maybe they've just wanted, you know what, let's just get this card over and done with and move on to the next. And look, that's not a critique of boxer. I mean, a lot of promoters are putting on bad cards. But yeah, they need to have pushed this one, I think, a bit more. It all depends what their hope and want is for Lauren Price. I mean, there are some big fights out there for her. At 147, I don't know if she can get down to 140, but if she can, then there are some really big fights out there for her. 154, like, she's in a good place right now, and I think they need to push her just a bit more. Lomachenko's dedication means a revival's at hand. I'm going to do a separate video on this Lomachenko Kambosos fight. In fact, I'm going to do it straight after this one. As for a revival, that almost makes it seem like he's fallen off a little bit. I don't think he has. I mean, look, he's not the Lomachenko that came through and I thought was just incredible. He's not that. Obviously not. He's 36, had some injuries, had a couple of defeats. But I thought he beat Devin Haney last time out. And going into the Ryan Garcia fight, Devin Haney was a pound for pounder. Devin Haney was the best 140 pounder. And I think Loma beat that guy. So he's not fallen off as much as maybe people think, but again, we'll talk about that. Ben Shalom, every promoter would be excited to work with Chris Eubank Jr. I was going to do a what next for Eubank Jr. Video, just because obviously he's no longer with the Sauerlands. I think Eubank Jr. is 35, so he's no spring chicken, obviously still in shape, lives the life. I don't think I've ever seen him out of shape. Of all the boxers that I've followed and covered for the last decade, he must be the one boxer that I've always seen in shape. Like, he doesn't look like he goes 10 to 15 pounds over his weight limit. Like, he's just always ripped and lean. So that would hold him in good stead, even though he is sort of obviously in age-wise past his prime. But yeah, I think a lot of promoters would want to work with him, especially the promoters over here. I don't know about the promoters in the US. He's tried that before. Do you remember that? He's tried that. Didn't quite work out. But over here, he's a ticket seller. He's not a massive ticket seller, but he certainly is a ticket seller. He's very good at promoting himself, right? A proper self-promoter. I just don't know what he wants to do anymore. Look, if the Ben fight can be made, because at this stage of your career, if you're Chris, surely it's just about a lot of money now. And the Ben fight, although there's still so many hurdles to even get Ben in the ring over here, but if somehow they can overcome those hurdles, I think the Ben fight financially is still the biggest fight for him out there. He's not going to get a Canelo fight, is he? He's not going to jump to 168 for that. So I know there's been talk about a Liam Smith trilogy. No, I don't think there's any interest in that. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Eubank Jr., but something's got to happen very, very soon. A focused Tyson Fury could be a different proposition for Alexander Usyk, of course. That's a given. If Tyson Fury is on it 100%, then forget the Fury that fought Ngannou, because that Fury, and remember, I did all the fight week build up. Trust me, that Fury was like a 60% version of the best Fury. He came in nearly 280 pounds. I just don't think he took Ngannou seriously. And that's not making excuses for what was a really poor performance. I think it's true. I think he looked at Ngannou and there was no tape of Ngannou boxing. And what tape we did have, he didn't look like he knew how to box. And all of a sudden, this guy could fight. And I think Fury was like a bit surprised, like we all were. A focused Fury, an in-shape Fury, is completely different. And Fury right now, I know we've seen photos of Fury before, and then you see him on fight week, and you're like, okay, 1 second, those photos were kind of deceiving. But the photo that we've recently seen that he put on his Instagram, Fury's in shape. Fury is in shape. And I almost feel like the cut may have helped him. Sometimes you've got to take a positive from a negative. It was a negative getting cut, but sometimes you've got to take a positive. And the positive is that maybe Fury had a bit of a mind shift of like, all right, fuck this, let's get serious now. Come on, let's get serious. Everyone's thinking I'm going to lose. Everyone's thinking I'm ducking this guy. Let's get in the best shape we can possibly be to try and become undisputed. Tyson Fury always says to me when I ask him about, oh, do you care about being undisputed? Do you care about being one of the greats? He always says no. I know he's lying. I even say it to him. It's the one thing I do in the interviews. I say, I don't believe you. I do think you care, and I do think he does care. His knowledge on the sport is vast. It's a lot. And that means he's kind of dug into the history. And he wants to be in that history. So I think he's going to be in incredible shape. Again, for his Fury, for the Ngannou fight, he was, I think, 278, 279 pounds. I think he will be more the 260s. So he's not going to go down to what he did when he fought Vladimir Klitschko, which was 247. He isn't going to go that far down. I know a lot of people said he will. He won't. I think the 260s. I've always said the best Fury that I've seen in terms of size, but yet move, aggressive, punch power, the best Fury I've seen is Chisora 2. Go back and watch it, Chisora 2. And he weighed... he weighed around 260 for that. I think about 262, 263. That's the best Fury I've seen. So he's still intimidating because of his size, right? And he's still got his legs. He can still move. The Fury that fought against Wilder, I know a lot of people will say that might be the best Fury. That Fury was, again, around the 275, 280 mark. He was a big guy. And he just stood in the pocket. He wasn't the mover Fury that I like to see. He stood in the pocket and decided just to kind of have a war with Wilder. I think you kind of need a mix of both. So I like the Fury that can stay in the pocket, and I like the Fury that can move. And I think 260 allows him to do both. And I think he's going to need to do both in this fight. I think there are times when we might see Fury fight on the back foot. There might be. I know that sounds strange considering he's going to be nearly 40 pounds, maybe even 50 pounds bigger than Alexander Usyk. But we are going to need to see a Fury that fights on the back foot and a Fury that, when he needs to, can put it on Usyk with size. And I think that's a 260 Fury. I really do. I've seeing that photo and seeing there was a little clip of Fury. He was shadow boxing. It wasn't much. You guys have probably seen it if you follow and stalk Fury as much as I do. But there's a little clip of him shadow boxing, and he was on his toes and he was flicking out the jab. And I was like, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Again, because for me, Fury in recent fights, because he has been so heavy, has decided for some weird reason just to sit down on his shots a lot more and not move. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Apologies. The best Fury I've seen was the one that fought Chisora. He weighed in around 260 pounds. Go and check it on BoxRec. And he was able to move when he needed to because Chisora was aggressive. We know how Chisora fights. But then he was able to put it on Chisora. And in the end, he stopped Chisora, didn't he? I think corner stoppage or something. Best Fury I've seen. And he's going to need to be the best because he's fighting a genius in Alexander Usyk, who is now... And by the way, Usyk's got his weight down to a T. He's got his heavyweight weight down to a T. And that's not easy to do when you come up from cruiserweight. Some people get it wrong. They just pile on the pounds. He's kind of got it to a T. Like, he weighs in exactly 221 pounds. That's not a coincidence. Like, people might say, oh, that's not a coincidence. Go and look at his last 3 fights. Chisora, he weighed 217 as he's still trying to navigate his way into the heavyweight division. AJ, first fight, 221. AJ, second fight, 221. Daniel Dubois, 221. He's now kind of perfected the weight, which I think is important. Fury needs to do that as well. That kind of fluctuation of weight isn't good. Find an ultimate fighting weight for yourself. Heavyweights always get this wrong because they can come in and be whatever weight they want. Find your weight. And I think Fury's best weight is 260, and I think he will be 260. I really do, which is perfect. Can't wait for it. As you guys know, I am very excited about it, and I am leaning to Fury now. Might change my mind again, people. We have 8 days to go. Might change my mind again. Bob Aram says Lomachenko has slipped, is in a very tough fight versus Kambosos. Let the sell begin. Let the sell begin. Oh, this is interesting. You know what? Separate video on this one as well. The WBO have ordered Anthony Yarde against Joshua Buatsi for the interim 175-pound title. I spoke about this yesterday where the WBO were asking for medical proof about Beterbiev's injury. And now they've moved on very, very quickly. So if Beterbiev, basically, if Yarde fights Buatsi, there's a good chance that the winner of this could be elevated to full champion if Beterbiev doesn't prove his injury. I think he will, but this is good. If I'm Anthony Yarde and Buatsi, this is good. The issue here isn't Buatsi. And the reason I know this is because there was an image I think Boxer put out, or someone put it out, might have been the WBO's Instagram page, talking about this, and Ben Shalom kind of put clapping hands in the comment section. I think they're ready to go. Obviously, there's an issue with Anthony Yarde, Frank Warren, and Tunde about a contract situation. I'm not quite sure. So wait to see how that happens. But again, separate video on that. Eddie Hearn hopes Jaron Ennis' road will lead to Crawford at 154 pounds. Don't think it does. I don't think it does. I don't think we'll see that fight. There's some fights that, well, look, I just can't see it. I can't see it, if I'm honest with you. It's not because Crawford's ducking Ennis or anything like that. I just don't think Crawford has Ennis in his mind. I just don't think he has. Again, I think he has 2 fighters in his mind. Obviously, Madrimov, that's separate, so 2 more. I really think he wants to fight Jamel Charlo. We wait to see what's going to happen. And Canelo. He wants those fights. Those 2 fights are bigger than Ennis for now, and that could change. Well done to Ennis, though. He's homecoming fight. I think he's fought in Philly before, but his homecoming fight with Matchroom, I think they've done pre-sale tickets 4,000, which is pretty good, and the rest go on general sale very soon. But that's good. As good as these fighters can be, and Jaron Ennis clearly is a fantastic fighter. You need to be able to put bums on seats. It's difficult. It isn't easy. Not everyone can do it. You can be as good as you want to be. Some people just can't sell tickets. It's unfortunate. Some fans just don't get behind you. Ennis clearly has a bit of a fan base, which is good. I mean, those pre-sale tickets would have been music to the ears of Eddie Hearn. Paulie Malignaggi, in pound-for-pound debate, don't forget OLEKSANDR Usyk. You can't. You'd be stupid to forget that. If he's talking about pound-for-pound number 1, then I think he's going to need to beat Fury to be in the discussion to jump over Inoue and Crawford. You look at those 2 resumes. I mean, frightening. Don't get me wrong, OLEKSANDR Usyk's resume is frightening as well, which is why I have him at number 3. They're clear of anything else. They are clear. Like 4, 5, 6, 7 is far away, and that includes Canelo in it. Those 3 for me are not super clear of Canelo, actually. Canelo for me is number 4. Not super clear, but they're clear. They're clear. All right, guys, girls, we are going to do a couple more videos today. We will do Loma. We will do Yarde and Buatsi. We're trying to get busy now. We're trying to get busy. I've slacked on the channel. It's not really slacked. I've just traveled so much. But we'll try and get this channel popping again. Peace and love.